This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And today, we are going to be talking about some wet boys. We're also going to be talking about Eric Bledsoe. We also got Nikola Mirotic versus Bobby Portis. And we were wrapping it up with Philadelphia 76ers and Markelle Fultz talk. If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, big shout out to you. If you're watching on YouTube, what's up? How you doing, everybody? We probably got New York skyline behind us. I don't know what Ricky puts up behind us. We also want to give a shout out to our iTunes listeners. If you are listening on iTunes, definitely go give us a rating. If you're not even on iTunes, go to iTunes, type in the Fast Break Podcast, give us 5 stars. We appreciate you.
Show us some love.
And also, as you noticed last week, Jake called in. This is a Patreon. So if you want to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast, definitely go check that out. We had Pat also hit us up on Patreon, and we definitely are loving the support you guys are giving us over there. If you want to be a part of the Patreon family, go to patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. But let's jump into the damp dudes, the moist men, the perspirating people, and the soggy shooters. We're talking about Wet Boys here on the Fast Break Podcast, edition number 2. Last week, it was Kristaps Porzingis and Patrick Beverley.
Yeah.
Now we have 2 new Wet Boys joining the club. Dave, give us your Wet Boy of the week.
I mean, it's hard to say there hasn't been a more impressive force to start this season. His name is Giannis. He sort of does everything for this Bucks team. He's kind of amazing.
He's pretty good.
He could say he's okay.
Read off some stats. Just to bolster it, even though
I'm
everybody at home knows.
He's dropping like 37, 11, and 5.
He's also doing it at 65% from the field, which is absolutely insane. Giannis has been leading the Bucks to 3-2 start because they just lost to Boston. But even then, it was a competitive game against Boston. You look at the Cleveland game.
He shot and made 2 out of 3 threes.
He did.
Are you afraid yet? Because if he can shoot like that?
What if he can shoot like that? Because right now he has a 40 per. If he can shoot like that, who can stop Giannis?
The answer is no.
No one can stop Giannis?
And the answer is buddy. Nobody.
That's pretty good.
I got nobody.
That's pretty good. I thought you were going to say nobody, as like no Buddy Hield can't stop him.
Oh.
Like, yeah, because Buddy Hield's not that good at
Buddy
defense.
Hield is not a great defender.
Buddy Hield can't stop Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is true. Yeah. But honestly, like if Giannis is going at full speed, at what he's doing, averaging 36.8 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals per game. God. I mean, is there enough around him to make this a championship team right now?
A championship? No.
Because
Giannis
is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah. But this isn't the first time we've seen a player, elevate their game to this level.
But we also haven't seen this level before.
I mean, Anthony Davis was averaging like 40, 12, and like 4.
But that was last year. But something is with Giannis. I mean, is this something he can keep up?
That's a scary thing. It's because
can he keep up 36 points per game?
It's stupid, but I think he can average like 33.
Wilt did 50 before.
Well, Wilt was also playing against a bunch of 5'10" kids.
Hey, Giannis Antetokounmpo is 6'11", point forward who is absolutely fast, has a crazy wingspan, and also is like super fluid.
I mean, the fact that he can like one dribble it from like half court in is just bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, he's the stretchy dude from Space Jam. I was gonna say Monster Jam. Space Jam. What's Monster Jam? Space Jam. He's a dude from Space Jam.
He's been undescribable because you literally have to watch him because the numbers are amazing and like it's almost unbelievable. But when you watch him play in a game, it's another level. You watch the amount of force he goes to the hole with. You watch how quick he is, his step, his ball handling has improved, and his shot has looked even cleaner this year. It's the one thing you have to give him credit. Like, this is a man who came into the league early, and he's improved his game every single year. He wasn't just amazing overnight.
Yep.
I just, not enough credit to even give him. I mean, the question is obviously, can he sustain? I think he can do close to this. Obviously, there's a lot of questions about, when Jabari comes back, how does he work back in lineup?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're having guys over excel right now. Brogdon's looked amazing. Chris Midd has been a little underperforming from my point of view, but still a quality player. They've got the right guys around him. I think that's the biggest thing is you have a great supporting cast. The question here is, is there anybody who can body him up? We've seen no so far, but to be fair, You played against LeBron James was the one guy we expected.
But also the one thing, too, I mean, if you're playing LeBron James, they're going to let you beat him. They're going to shut down everybody else and make you, you can put up 34 points against LeBron, but as long as they're shutting down everybody else, they're going to win at 116-97. So it doesn't matter. They're getting the W. It doesn't matter if you're putting up 34.
It's true.
It's true. But the one thing that I want to say, if you're going to make a move in the Milwaukee Bucks, what's the one piece that you do want to move? Because we're going to talk a little bit about it with the Eric Bledsoe deal, that Milwaukee's definitely a suitor. But if you're just taking an archetype of a player, who are you looking for to help Giannis grow as a point forward? And how are you, helping him just grow on the court?
It's hard because I'm in that struggle of I want to go like 2K on this and have like a dynasty style team, which is what they're.
You can't.
Well, that's the thing is their timeline sort of lines up for that now with the expected development of a Thon Maker with Brogdon, potentially getting better this year. Everybody joked about. But he's already in his prime when he came into the league.
He's 25. He'll be 25 soon.
And that's the thing is and Chris Midd's on a long-term contract. I think obviously Henson's kind of the odd man out right now. But what do they need? I would love if they had a better point guard. To be honest, I think Brogdon would excel being a backup point. I don't like Delly's quality, but I don't love him. If you could get yourself a better point. So Giannis doesn't have to manage the ball in his hands all the time. I know you want his hands as often as possible, but there's the questions of, turnovers and open looks for everybody else. Like having a second ball handler who you're confident in, who keeps turnovers to a minimum, money. If you can get somebody who can defend even better, I'm either going for a 1 or a 5, to be honest. I'm 1 or a 5.
So you're looking for a 1 or a 5. One thing about Giannis, though, is he's not as bad as James Harden was 2 years ago when it comes to turnovers. Just
that's a record, sir.
We are going to move up to my wet boy, though, and it's going to be Victor Oladipo of the Indiana Pacers, recently traded from OKC to bring Paul George over to OKC. And some people are saying Paul George is underperforming. Shut the fuck up. It's been like 3 games, 4 games, 5 games.
Making Melo look like an all-defensive player.
Just chill. If Melo's going to be an all-defensive player, cool. Paul George is going to bounce back. I think it was something April. He was shooting like 27, 50, and 40. Paul George is going to be fine.
Not comfy Paul George yet.
Yeah, he is an all-NBA team player.
Yep.
But one thing Victor Oladipo has proved in the last 3 games is that he has been absolutely money. 30 points per game, shooting 56% from the field and 55% from 3. It's not like he's taking like 1 3. He's averaging 3.3 makes to 6.7 attempts from 3. I mean, he's been super efficient, grabbing 4 boards as well, 2.7 assists, and he's also been doing on the defensive side a block a game and also 2.3 steals per game. Victor Oladipo has been absolutely fantastic for the Pacers. I don't know how well the Pacers are going to do this year. I don't have high expectations for the Pacers, but if Oladipo can go off, that is a guy who is still super young, only 25 years old. You possibly could help build a team around Oladipo and Miles Turner. So that could be a fun team to watch.
Is this the guy that was drafted, 3rd overall or something? Second overall.
Behind Anthony Bennett.
And we're finally seeing the level of production you expect out of that quality player.
But also one thing, the usage is high up. I mean, it wasn't like he was terrible in OKC. He obviously struggled in the position they wanted him to be in, being a 3-and-D guy. But he wasn't terrible. It wasn't like he was awful in OKC. I would probably still do that deal again if I was OKC for Sabonis and getting in Oladipo and all that. I still like that move. But the one thing is that now the usage is going up, and maybe he is not a guy that is supposed to play off a guy like West. Maybe he's supposed to be a guy in a vein of West, at least going to be a guy who should be a primary ball handler, or at least a guy that should be your number 1 scoring option on a team. And Oladipo, after his last 3 games, has been absolutely fantastic. Now it's just really Oladipo. You got to keep it up. You're obviously not going to stick around 30 points per game, but if you can stay around,
the most surprising thing. I think you have to give him credit because that just.
That was one thing. Yeah, that was one thing with OKC that he didn't have was efficiency from deep, and 55% from 3 is ridiculous. Let us know in the comments down below who your wet boy of the week is.